In the realm of influence and power, charm is not merely a social grace, it is a weapon. To the Machiavellian thinker, charm is not about being genuinely likable. It is about being usefully likable. Strategic charm is a calculated tool used to disarm, persuade, and ultimately manipulate others in pursuit of one's goals. Rooted in the political philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli, this form of charm is never accidental. It is meticulously employed to exploit human psychology and social dynamics. Understanding the purpose of strategic charm. The first step in using strategic charm is to understand its purpose. Control through likability. People are more receptive, cooperative, and easily influenced when they feel emotionally connected or respected. Charm creates a psychological bond that lowers defenses. A Machiavellian does not aim to be charming for the sake of friendship. They aim to make others feel comfortable, seen, and safe so their resistance weakens. Mastering the techniques. 1. Mirror and match behavior. Mimicking another person's speech patterns, posture, or emotional tone, a tactic known as mirroring, fosters familiarity and comfort. This subtle mimicry makes the other person feel understood and validated. 2. Selective flattery. Genuine sounding praise targeted at a person's ego can open doors that brute force cannot. A Machiavellian uses compliments not to build self-esteem, but to create obligation and dependency. The goal is to make others crave continued approval. 3. Emotional calibration. Strategic charm requires emotional intelligence, not in the service of empathy, but in the service of manipulation. Knowing when to smile, when to offer support, and when to pull back is essential. A well-timed expression of sympathy or interest can dramatically increase influence. 4. Controlled vulnerability. People trust those who appear open or vulnerable. The Machiavellian may share a personal story or reveal a flaw, but always in a way that serves their broader strategy. This tactic makes others feel safe disclosing their own secrets, which can later be used as leverage. 5. Adaptability in social masks. The Machiavellian is a social chameleon, able to present different personas to different people. With one person, they may be humble and warm. With another, bold and confident. Strategic charm involves choosing the right facade for each audience. The ethical dilemma. Using charm strategically walks a fine ethical line. While Machiavelli famously claimed that the ends justify the means, modern interpretations must contend with the damage manipulative charm can inflict on trust and relationships. A charm rooted in falsehood will eventually erode credibility unless carefully maintained. Strategic charm is one of the most subtle and effective tools in the Machiavellian arsenal. It cloaks manipulation in warmth, influence in empathy, and control in connection. To wield it skillfully is to understand both human desire and human weakness. In the pursuit of power and manipulation, truth is a tool, one that is to be used selectively, not universally. To the Machiavellian mind, deception is not an act of betrayal, but a calculated method of maintaining advantage in a world where trust is often a weakness. As Niccolò Machiavelli implied in The Prince, appearances matter more than reality, and those who control perception often control outcomes. To deceive is to lead from the shadows to win wars without drawing swords. The philosophy behind deception. Machiavellian deception is not random or chaotic. It is a disciplined art. It relies on the premise that most people judge by appearances rather than by facts. Therefore, to shape perception is to shape reality. A successful deceiver doesn't lie constantly. Instead, they lie strategically, when it offers the highest return and lowest risk. The goal is not to be a liar, but to be a master illusionist. Methods of deception. 1. Conceal intentions. The first rule of effective deception is to never reveal your true goals. Appear to work for others while serving yourself. Cloak ambition in humility, power in passivity, and planning in spontaneity. When people do not know your direction, they cannot block your path. 2. Tell partial truths. The best lies are wrapped in truths. Offer facts, but omit the context. Lead people to believe they have full understanding when they only see what you allow. This type of deception is harder to detect and easier to defend. 3. Use false choices. A Machiavellian offers 2 or 3 paths, none of which lead to freedom. The illusion of choice deceives people into believing they have control, while the outcome remains pre-designed. This tactic is especially powerful in leadership and negotiations. 4. Create a mask of virtue. Appear moral, honest, and trustworthy. Speak of loyalty and fairness while preparing betrayal. People will rarely question someone who behaves like a saint. As Machiavelli wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. 5. Redirect blame. When deception is exposed, never accept guilt. Shift blame subtly to another or suggest misunderstanding. If necessary, sacrifice a minor figure to protect the greater plan. Maintaining the illusion of integrity is more important than preserving any single person. The role of timing. Deception is most effective when paired with patience. The Machiavellian waits for the right moment to strike, avoiding hasty moves that could cause suspicion. Like a predator in the wild, they remain hidden until the target is vulnerable. The ethical dimension. To deceive in a Machiavellian sense is not necessarily to commit evil, it is to recognize that power is not given to the most honest, but to the most effective. Deception, when used judiciously, can prevent conflict, manipulate outcomes, and protect one's position. But when used recklessly or selfishly, it becomes a poison that erodes alliances and incites revenge. In any structure where power is contested, be it a court, a corporation, or a kingdom, the greatest threat to a ruler is unity among subordinates. The more people are united, the stronger their potential to challenge authority. The Machiavellian strategist, therefore, employs a timeless principle: divide and conquer. By keeping others fragmented, suspicious, or at odds, the one in command remains unchallenged and secure. This tactic, often associated with emperors and tyrants, is not inherently violent. It is psychological warfare, subtle, calculated, and devastatingly effective. Niccolò Machiavelli did not invent the method, but he understood its power well. To rule successfully, he argued, a leader must learn how to prevent alliances among the ruled, while appearing to serve the common good. The logic of division. People, when united by a common purpose or enemy, can overpower even the most secure regime. But people in conflict with each other are easy to rule. Division weakens trust. It scatters strength. It distracts attention from the top and focuses it on petty rivalries below. The leader then appears as a necessary stabilizer, essential, even benevolent. A Machiavellian doesn't simply wait for conflict to appear. They create it, foster it, and direct it like a puppeteer behind the curtain. Methods of division. 1. Sow subtle mistrust. The goal is not open conflict, but quiet suspicion. Whisper suggestions. Ask leading questions. Have you noticed how she always takes credit? Or he seems very close to the boss lately, doesn't he? Let the seed of doubt grow in silence. People act on what they suspect, not only what they know. 2. Play favorites selectively. Offer minor privileges, praise, or access to one person while neglecting others. Then reverse the pattern. Make everyone feel both important and replaceable. This breeds quiet competition. When people are focused on gaining your favor, they stop uniting with one another. 3. Use controlled rumors. Spread information half-true, exaggerated, or invented that pits groups against each other. Make it seem as if one department, faction, or person has an advantage or a hidden agenda. Rumors stir unrest while keeping your hands clean. 4. Empower rivals. Promote or support to ambitious people with overlapping responsibilities or unclear boundaries. Give both enough power to desire more, but not enough to overpower you. Their rivalry becomes your shield. While they battle, you remain above it. 5. Fabricate crises or scapegoats. When unity threatens to grow, introduce a common problem that redivides the group, a new policy, an external threat, or a convenient scapegoat. Redirect frustration away from you and into internal divisions. Managing appearances. Never appear to be the source of division. Speak constantly of unity, fairness, and harmony. hold meetings, use the language of cooperation, while privately stoking conflict. The Machiavellian must wear the mask of the peacemaker. In the theatre of power, emotion is a liability. To lead, to conquer, to manipulate, one must be able to think with clarity, not compassion. Emotional detachment is not coldness for its own sake, but a conscious strategy to avoid being controlled by feelings or by those who wield them. For the Machiavellian, it is not a flaw to feel nothing. It is a strength. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that political survival depends not on sentiment but on results. A prince, he wrote, must learn to act against mercy, faith, and even humanity when necessary. Emotional detachment is the internal condition that allows such action. It is the discipline that separates the ruler from the ruled. Why emotional detachment matters. Power requires hard decisions, betrayal of allies, dismissal of the loyal, and sacrifice of the innocent for the greater aim. Those who are swayed by guilt, fear, or affection will falter when ruthlessness is required. Emotional detachment ensures decisions are made by logic, not conscience. It prevents hesitation. It prevents regret. The emotionally detached individual does not lack emotion, they command it. They know when to fake warmth, when to show anger, when to cry without feeling any of it. Emotion becomes a tool, not a master. Methods to develop emotional detachment. 1. Reframe empathy as weakness, where others see empathy as virtue. The Machiavellian sees it as vulnerability. Feeling another's pain only invites manipulation. Instead of emotional sympathy, cultivate rational analysis. Understand people, but do not suffer with them. 2. Observe, don't absorb. Train your mind to observe emotional situations as if from the outside. In moments of high drama, step back mentally. Ask, what is happening? What does each party want? How can this be used to my advantage? Never absorb emotion. Extract information. 3. Delay emotional response. When provoked, resist immediate reaction. Let the emotion pass before acting. Those who act in anger or sorrow reveal their hand. The Machiavellian lets others explode while remaining still, gaining control over the situation and its narrative. 4. Use ritual and routine. Emotion thrives in chaos. Discipline crushes it. By living according to a system, habits, routines, and planned responses, you remove the space in which feelings grow. Decision-making becomes mechanical, not sentimental. 5. Cultivate inner isolation. Build a fortress within yourself. Let no one truly know your inner life. The less others see your emotional triggers, the less they can exploit you. Emotional independence is the final step toward strategic invincibility. Strategic uses of controlled emotion. Emotional detachment does not mean the absence of emotional display. A true Machiavellian is an actor. They laugh, weep, show love or outrage, but all on cue. Emotional displays become weapons, not windows. They are used to seduce, intimidate, or distract. Meanwhile, the core remains untouched, focused, and calculating. Fear and respect, a Machiavellian strategy for power. In the eternal struggle for power, a ruler must decide how they wish to be seen, feared, loved, or respected. Niccolò Machiavelli, in The Prince, addressed this dilemma with clarity and cold realism. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose. Yet the truly effective leader understands that fear and respect are not opposites, they are partners. When used strategically, they form the foundation of unshakable authority. To be feared without being hated, and respected without being manipulated, is a high art. The Machiavellian does not rule through cruelty alone, nor through charm alone, but by striking the perfect balance. The subject obeys because he fears consequence, and he accepts this because he respects the source of power. The nature of fear. Fear is immediate. It changes behavior quickly. Unlike love, which is freely given and easily lost, fear is controlled by the one who instills it. The power of fear lies in its simplicity. People avoid pain. If you are the source of potential pain, loss of status, opportunity, or safety, they will act according to your will. But the Machiavellian uses fear with precision, not recklessness. Fear that is too harsh breeds hatred. Hatred breeds plots. The key is to be feared enough to ensure obedience, but not so much that people dream of your downfall. The nature of respect. Respect cannot be demanded like fear. It must be cultivated. It is built through competence, consistency, and calculated displays of strength. Respect causes people to hesitate before betraying you, to follow you even when fear is absent. Unlike love, which is emotional, respect is rational. People respect what they believe is superior, capable, and inevitable. The Machiavellian uses respect to stabilize power. It prevents chaos. While fear keeps enemies at bay, respect keeps allies in line. How to be feared and respected. 1. Be just but unforgiving. Make your punishments rare but absolute. When someone crosses the line, respond swiftly and decisively. Show that disobedience has a cost, but never be arbitrary. Justify your actions with reason or law. This creates fear without cruelty. 2. Display power publicly, not constantly. Let people see that you are capable of action, but do not abuse power. Occasional demonstrations removing a rival, crushing a rebellion, exposing a traitor are enough to remind others of the consequences of defiance. 3. Be predictable in principle, unpredictable in action. Let people understand your values and priorities, so they know how to avoid punishment, but never let them fully predict how or when you will act. Mystery increases fear. Fear increases control. 4. Show competence in all things. Respect grows when you are seen as competent, strategic in thought, effective in execution. Do not show weakness, indecision, or dependence. The one who appears to need nothing is the one most admired. Calculated alliances, a Machiavellian blueprint. In the Machiavellian worldview, alliances are not sacred. They are not bonds of loyalty, friendship, or shared values. They are instruments temporary, arrangements forged in the heat of necessity and discarded in the cold logic of ambition. A true Machiavellian does not seek allies for companionship, but for advantage. Niccolò Machiavelli himself warned against blind trust in allies, especially those who are more powerful or overly virtuous. In The Prince, he taught that one should never be bound by loyalty, when betrayal would offer greater gain. Alliances are not moral decisions, they are strategic calculations. The purpose of calculated alliances. Power is rarely seized alone. In any competitive arena, politics, business, war, one must build temporary coalitions to remove threats, gain access, or lend credibility. A Machiavellian alliance is not an expression of goodwill. It is a bridge to your next victory. Principles of Machiavellian alliances. 1. Align only when it benefits you. Never enter an alliance out of emotion, obligation, or fear. Join forces only when the benefits clearly outweigh the risks, and only if the outcome brings you closer to your goal. If the alliance serves your ally more than you, it is a liability. 2. Choose the weak or the useful. The ideal ally is either weaker than you and in need of your power, or stronger than you, but vulnerable in some critical area. Avoid alliances with those who can easily dominate or discard you. You must either control the alliance or be able to exit it at will. 3. Keep motives hidden. Your reasons for forming the alliance should never be transparent. Speak of shared vision, values, or threats, but internally remain clear. This is a means to an end. Let the other party believe they are gaining a partner, not a tactician with a plan. 4. Limit loyalty, not leverage. Never pledge absolute loyalty. Always maintain escape routes, alternate options, and private interests. At the same time, gather leverage information, secrets, or dependence that allows you to control or destabilize your ally if needed. 5. Sabotage before separation. If the alliance must end, do not simply withdraw. Leave your ally weakened or discredited, so they cannot rise against you. This may involve exposing their flaws, leaking information, or creating internal dissent. An ally today can become a rival tomorrow, so neutralize them before they shift roles. 6. Let others see you as cooperative. While your intentions are cold, your image must be warm. The public must view you as a team player, a builder of coalitions, a peacemaker. Reputation is a shield. The life cycle of a Machiavellian alliance. Formation. Identify mutual interests. Offer value. Appear trustworthy. Exploitation. Use the alliance to access power, eliminate threats, or gain legitimacy. Control. Secure influence over your ally. Learn their weaknesses. Dismantling. End the alliance on your terms quietly or destructively. Control information. A Machiavellian guide to silent domination. In any contest for power, what people know and what they believe they know is more important than what is true. Reality can be harsh, complex, or unchangeable, but perception is flexible, controllable, and, most importantly, weaponizable. The Machiavellian understands this. To control information is to control minds, behavior, and ultimately, the world. Niccolò Machiavelli recognized that truth is not always useful. A wise ruler, he wrote, must learn to appear virtuous rather than be virtuous. In this lies the essence of informational control, shaping the narrative, deciding what is revealed and what is hidden, and feeding the right story to the right audience at the right time. The power of information. Information is power not because it reveals, but because it influences. It can inspire fear, loyalty, confusion, or unity. It can provoke enemies or pacify them. It can elevate a nobody into a leader or reduce a hero to disgrace. The ruler who controls information controls emotion, and through emotion, action. More importantly, the person who controls information often avoids being blamed for the control itself. Lies can be denied, truths can be delayed, and silence can be justified. Methods of controlling information. 1. Control the flow, not just the content. You do not need to lie outright, though you can. Simply choose what information is shared, when it is shared, and how. Delay bad news. Accelerate praise. Leak only what serves your interest. Let people see only what is useful to you. 2. Become the gatekeeper of knowledge. Make yourself the source others rely on for news, interpretation, or access. The more dependent people are on you for understanding, the more influence you hold over their thoughts and decisions. Gatekeepers become gods. 3. Use truth selectively. The best lies are built from truth. Do not fabricate unnecessarily. Instead, present facts out of context. Highlight convenient details and omit key nuances. Incomplete truth is more dangerous than a complete lie. It is harder to detect and easier to defend. 4. Spread conflicting stories. When facing scrutiny, create multiple narratives. Let people debate among themselves. In confusion, no one acts. While they argue over the truth, you move undetected. Misinformation is often more effective than censorship. 5. Discredit alternative sources. If someone challenges your narrative, attack their credibility, not their facts. Mock them, isolate them, or accuse them of bias. If people doubt the messenger, they will ignore the message. The truth dies when its speaker is ridiculed. The illusion of transparency. Pretend to be open. Issue statements. Hold meetings. Publish data. Let others believe they are informed, while you feed them only what you want them to digest. The illusion of transparency is the best shield for manipulation. People rarely suspect a lie when they think they're being told everything. Hit that like button. Don't miss out on more awesomeness. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. Master long-term planning, a Machiavellian strategy for lasting power. Power gained quickly is often lost quickly. The impulsive win battles, but the patient win kingdoms. In the eyes of the Machiavellian, power is not seized in a moment, it is constructed, layer by layer, with foresight, restraint, and ruthless calculation. Long-term planning is the architecture of dominion. It is the art of thinking 5 moves ahead, while others focus only on the next. Niccolò Machiavelli understood the value of time as a weapon. He warned against trusting fortune and chance, advocating instead for preparation, foresight, and anticipation. The wise ruler is not distracted by the noise of the present. They are already shaping the future in silence. The philosophy of long-term power. Time is not an enemy, it is an ally to those who know how to use it. The pillars of long-term planning. 1. Define your ultimate goal. Begin with clarity. Do you seek dominance, freedom, influence, or immunity? Without a clear objective, you risk chasing distractions. Your long-term plan must serve a singular, non-negotiable ambition. All else is strategy. 2. Work backwards from power. Envision the throne, then work backward. What needs to happen before you get there? What must fall? Who must rise? What perceptions must shift? Reverse engineering your goal exposes the necessary path and the obstacles. 3. Delay gratification. The Machiavellian knows that every immediate pleasure may cause future power. Learn to say no to the easy win, the public applause, or the tempting shortcut. What you delay now, you may multiply later. Patience is not weakness, it is dominance in disguise. 4. Plant seeds early. Begin placing people, ideas, and narratives in position long before they are needed. Elevate future allies. Spread useful rumors. Prepare the public for future changes. What you sow today, you harvest when others least expect. 5. Plan for chaos. Do not build a plan that works only under perfect conditions. The long-term strategist anticipates betrayal, failure, and unpredictability. Build flexibility into your strategy so that chaos becomes an opportunity, not a crisis. The hidden nature of long-term planning. True strategy is invisible. Do not announce your intentions. Do not let others see your map. Mask your ambitions with modesty, your moves with randomness. Let people think you are improvising, while every action is deliberate. Appear reactive, while remaining entirely proactive. Dealing with time. Time rewards the persistent and punishes the impulsive. Stay disciplined. You will be tempted to act prematurely. You will face pressure to accelerate. But if your plan is sound, time will bend to your favor. Patience is not passivity, it is controlled aggression. In the end, power belongs not to the strongest or the loudest, but to the most prepared, and preparation is the truest mark of the Machiavellian mind.